Good morning, and welcome to the Facebook Live. I'm your host, Sally Thibault. Plan to make this Facebook Live about 30 minutes long. So as you pop on, just say hi. I know a few people have sent me a message to say that they are going to watch the recording because they're at work or have other events on, and that's fine. I will look forward to your comments and your questions later. I'll be popping on later on during the day. So if you're watching this live, watching this as a replay, please feel like you can put the comments and any questions below, and I'll come back and answer those later. But what I really wanted to do today was to talk to you about energy. Do you know, one of the things that I find most people talk about is that they want to do so much more with their lives, but the problem is they just don't have the energy. Just let me check to see if my microphone's plugged in. I hope so. If you can't hear me, let me know. Is they can't find the energy to do what it is they truly love to do. So we're going to do something today. I'm going to share with you the 4-step methodology that I use all the time. And I'm also going to, at the end of this, we're going to do an EFT session. And I wanted to do the EFT session this time because I want to share with you one of the things that I share with my clients and my private clients, right? Because what I'm finding is that a lot of people are using EFT incorrectly. Here is how you know if you're using EFT correctly or not. Because if you know it's working, the issue that you're tapping on goes away. If it's not working, you keep repeating the same pattern. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So when you keep repeating the same pattern, when the same thing keeps coming up for you over and over again, that's when you know that what you're doing isn't working. And there's a number of things I'm going to go through as we go through this today that I'm going to share with you how that happens. Do you know, lack of energy mostly comes down to the weight of unresolved emotions and triggers from past stories. That's where lack of energy mostly comes from. Yes, you can do some things physically. You know, you may need to get your hormones checked. You may need to look at the food that you're eating. But to me, 90% of the energy you don't have is simply because you have an unresolved emotion or past limiting story that keeps sitting there. And that's heavy. It weighs heavy on the body. It weighs heavy on your brain. It weighs heavy on your mind. Now, it's part of the process that the way EFT works is it reduces the emotional connection to whatever the limiting belief is and helps you rewrite the story, because that's what's going on. Whenever we're stuck in a pattern, we're just playing out an old story. And when you get to the pattern, that's when you can change it. Now, our body and our lives, our reality, tell us the truth. Always tells us the truth. And it shows up in 3 places: bank account, body, relationship. And it's easy to pretend that everything's okay. It's easy to pretend that everything's okay. But if there's issues in one or all of those areas, there is something going on for you that you haven't cleared yet. And the problem is, what we do is we push it outside of us. We say, well, it's nothing to do with me, it's him, or it's what he says, or it's what that boss does, or that toxic person does, or the economy is bad and I can't possibly, make the money I used to, or, I'm never going to get that promotion because I don't have the qualifications, or I can't lose weight because that's just the way it is and the time of my life. That's rubbish. That is simply your reality reflecting back to you what you need to work on. And here's the beauty of it. If you work on that issue, it actually manifests in every other aspect of your life. It's like it impacts exponentially, that once you clear that one issue. Now, for many of the people that I work with, it's often their body. But the thing is, when you get that thing handled, when you get that body thing handled, the thing is that everything else falls into place. So, the more you work on these 4 aspects, which I'm going to share with you now, it actually becomes a lot easier to implement the habits you need to implement. I think that there's two kinds of people in the world. There are people who spend a lot of time doing inner work, so meditation or visualization or affirmations, but they don't actually get around to the doing. And then there's the other group of people in the world who do the doing, running, working hard, and don't focus on the being. And either way, the two aren't going to work because you're going to run out of energy. Now, in my book Lighter, which will be released in December, I talk about the 4-step methodology. That is individual, intuitive, intentional, and informed. And they sit on a spectrum. Hi, Pauline. They sit on the spectrum. So you have intuitive and individual at the top, and you have intentional and informed at the bottom. This is the doing part at the bottom. This is the being part at the top. They've got to meet in the middle. You know, T. Harv Eker, I once read a book about his, and he talked about, he wrote a book called Millionaire Mindset. And he said, I've yet to see and hear of a person sitting under a tree meditating and a bag of gold falls on their head. You have to actually do something. When we talk about weight, let's talk about weight in our bodies. Weight is simply emotion not dealt with. While the diet industry and the fitness industry would like you to think differently, it's not the case. It is that when you focus on healing the inner you, hey Deborah, healing the inner you, when you focus on that, the rest of the thing, the doing part, comes really easily. It's essential. Now, when I first started on this journey many years ago, when I was, focusing on weight loss and all that stuff, I really focused a lot on the bottom two quadrants, which was the intentional, I want to lose weight, and informed, okay, this is how I do it. You know, I'm going to eat this type of way, I'm going to exercise that type of way, and that's out at the bottom. But those habits are difficult to maintain because they take willpower and determination. The top part, which is individual, understanding you as the superpower, who you are, and then trusting in your intuition, the feeling aspect, when those come together, they just make this nice, beautiful little heart, as I say, and that's that heart that comes together. So those becomes a trust and empowerment and confidence and belief in yourself and worthiness. So let's do a segue to this, because I really want to get on to doing an EFT session with you. And I want to do something that I believe that many people miss. There are a couple of things about EFT. It's a fabulous modality, and for those who are watching and have never heard of it before, EFT or tapping, we tend to refer to it now as emotional freedom techniques rather than just tapping, is that what people do is they tap around trying to feel good, right? It's kind of lowering the stress levels. When you tap, and it's very broad, what you do is you're lowering cortisol. For a moment, you feel better. And that can lead you to kind of thinking, well, now it's working. But the fact is it isn't. All it's doing is making you feel better for a period of time. The key to using EFT effectively is that you have to be specific, and you've got to get, I'm saying to my clients all the time, what does that remind you of? Or is there a story there? Can you remember when this happened this time? When was this going on for you in your life? You've got to get to the story. Now, that's why I like to work with people over a long period of time, because as you begin to unfold all these limiting patterns and beliefs, it's like a maze. It's like peeling back layers of the onion. You kind of get to one thing, and then you'll find there's something else there. And I'll share a story that happened just recently for me. I've been doing this work for quite a number of years now, in particular EFT, I think, for the last 5 years. But prior to that, lots of meditation and inner work before that, lots of modalities. But I'm still hitting things. And a few weeks ago, I ended up with a really bad hip. It was really sore. Now, physically, what did I do? Physically, I ran and tried to keep up with someone who was 5 inches taller than me. It was never going to happen. And I kind of pushed myself physically. But every time I went to go and have a session with my my chiropractor about it. She kept saying, there's something more here. This isn't shifting and I don't know what it is. Immediately I go to, I know. It's nothing to do with physical. The physical is just the outward expression of what was going on for me internally. So when I got very specific about what the issue was, and it came up actually in a conversation with my sister, and that's the thing, sometimes you need to bounce it off somebody. She actually picked it up when I was talking through it. And that's why it's really important, as I said, to have someone you can bounce this off, because you can think it's something and it's totally different. Anyway, she said to me, it sounds to me like something in the past, because my left hip, right? I kept saying to her, I feel like I'm being held back with this. So something in your past, and it popped up. It was an unresolved issue from my past. And the minute I got that, then I just went kind of scanning around that. Aha, I got it. And I did an EFT session, did my meditation, switched my mind movie a little bit so I can adjust that. And guess what? Went away. It just went away. And interestingly enough, now, every now and then it'll tweak a little. I can feel it twinge a little bit. And I just go, okay, what's the unresolved issue I haven't solved from the past? Am I running my own race? Am I staying in my own lane? Am I competing and trying to be something more? So I hope that story kind of helps you understand that this process isn't something that can be solved overnight. It is something that just happens over a period of time, and it's a commitment to that. And if you can commit to that, that's a lot easier than committing to going to the gym 5 days a week, pushing big heavy weights, let me just tell you. Because that actually comes easier. You know, now, I used to go to the gym all the time. I don't anymore. I do my own exercise inside. If you're on Instagram, I was showing my workout this morning. All right, so what we're going to do now, where are we? Yeah, exactly on time. I'm going to do an EFT session with you now, and this is about getting more energy. Okay, that's what we're going to focus on, because that's what I find for people. They find it very, very difficult to get things done because they can't find the energy to do it. Can't find the energy to get up to go for the walk in the morning. Can't find the energy to keep focused on their business. Get to the end of the day and go, and you're just exhausted, and you end up sitting in front of the TV and just watching, TV. All right, so let me know if you'd like an EFT session on, we're going to have more energy. So let me talk about that. I'm just going over my notes to make sure I've covered it all. All right, so what I want you to do, again, we're going to get very specific in this. That's what this is all about. It's about getting very specific. You can pretend all you want, you can tap around everything you want, but we've got to get specific. We've got to get to the root cause of what the problem is. So after we've done this session, I'm then going to share with you something I work with my private clients on that adds that extra dimension to this that kind of is ongoing after the session. So I'm going to use the words, I never seem to have enough energy to do what I want. But I would like you, as I'm saying this, to use the words that resonate with you. While we're tapping, I want you to be very aware of the feeling in your body, whether it's tiredness, whether it's exhaustion, whether it's pain, whether it's like, I just can't be bothered. What's that feeling? Let's get really, really specific. So I'm going to use these words. You can change them as we go along. And I want you to think about when you feel that exhaustion, where do you actually feel it in your body? Like is it this weight on your shoulders? Is it just a general overall tiredness? Is it a headache, which is often for many people what happens? They get headaches when they're exhausted and tired. The whole idea with this is to lift the limiting emotion that is keeping the energy heavy. Okay, that's the point of this. All right, let's just tap. We'll get right into it, shall we? Right on time. All right. Even though I never seem to have enough energy to do what I want, I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though sometimes it feels like it's all too hard, I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though no matter what I do, I'm tired. And I find myself procrastinating and putting things off. Okay, here we go. I never have enough energy to do what I really want to do. Sometimes it all feels just too hard. No matter what I do, I never have enough energy. No matter how I start out, I put things off. Sometimes it all feels too hard. I tend to reach for foods that give me a quick fix. Then I get angry with myself because it's too hard. One more round. I never have enough energy. This is a pattern of mine. I procrastinate and never have enough energy. I wonder what this is trying to tell me. I always feel like I'm procrastinating because I don't have enough energy. What is it that's holding me back? Is there fear there? I never seem to have enough energy. Okay, just want you to take a deep breath. I just want you to sit now for a moment, and I want you to see if there's a pattern. See if that energy is actually a part of something far greater. Do you know, sometimes it's fear about stepping forward. Sometimes it's overwhelm, I've got too much to do. Sometimes it's low self-worth. Sometimes it's you're not valuing yourself. And sometimes it's the imposter syndrome. You don't feel like you should be doing what you're doing, and that manifests as low energy. Before I go on, because I'm going to do a reframe now, I just want to share with you, I'm going to put notes in the comments, if you would like to have a chat with me about how you can move forward in this. I've now got 3 different ways you can work with me. And so if you want to have a chat with me and say, you know what, I'm over this pattern. I'm sick of this thing repeating. I really want to get on with it. This is just driving me crazy. Why don't you book in, have a chat with me? Let me see if I can help you. And I'll share with you now the 3 different ways that you can work with me. Because really, it's, what are we now? Nearly end of October. Do you know in about 8.5 weeks, it's going to be 2020. Unbelievable, right? 2020. Where are the flying cars? Remember the Jetsons? Remember the flying cars? Where are the flying cars? Who would have thought we'd get to 2020? Anyway, if you want to start off this new decade, because this is a great time to start, okay, this is really powerful. You're going to start off this next decade of your life. If you want to do that right now, now's the time to clear all this stuff up. So when you're setting your new intentions and creating a new space in your world, you've got to get rid of the baggage, right? You've got to get rid of this stuff. And if you just focus on this, everything else flows beautifully. Body, relationship, bank account. That's where it's showing up. That's your reality. Your inner world is reflecting your outer reality. Have a look around. What's going for you out there is just a reflection of what's going on here. Change this, and out there will change too. So the link is in the comments. We're back. I was just about to move to see if I get... We're having terrible trouble with our internet at the moment. So much for the NBN. I was just about to move, but it looks like we're back on again. We're back on again. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me just get everything sorted. I was just about to move and see if it made any difference. Hope you're back. Let me know if you're back. I'm here. So much for the NBN, shall we say. We're trying to get this fixed. That's why I'm sitting out here, actually, not in my office, because I just can't get the internet in my office anymore. It's so annoying. Right, let's do a reframe. This is the one I want to share with you that I believe is the critical part of EFT. It's the critical part, right? The first part is releasing the emotional connection to the memory And it is finding the pattern to release that. That's the first part. Now, and usually if I'm working with my clients, of course, we don't move to this reframe until that gets down to a 0 or a 2. But I want to share with you a little aspect of that I've been working with and I'm finding really powerful in my life right now. And that is, when we're doing the reframe round, is to create an intentional present vision. So that's to, as we're doing the reframe round, to intend what you want in the now and using EFT to help propel that. All right, so I'm going to here's how we do it. So once we've tapped, right, got it down, blah, 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 maybe you've written down all the bits and pieces. Now we're going to do the reframe. Okay, so what is it you want now? I want you to get really specific. What is it you want in your life? What is the one thing you want more? And that's what the energy is there for, because that's what you have to do, right? It's no good saying I want more energy unless the energy is going to help you do and achieve something. So what is it you want to do or achieve? Get that really clear in your mind. Okay, now I want you to create a picture of it in your mind. I want you to see yourself doing something with this energy. And as we're doing it, I want you to feel the emotion that comes with it. And this is a lot of work with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Fabulous, fabulous work he does. But it's about, it's like your brain doesn't know the difference, right, between what's real and what's not. The brain doesn't know the difference. What's the past, present, or future? So we're going to work with the subconscious. So I want you to picture yourself with that extra energy. What are you doing? What are you doing? And how does it make you feel? You've got to put the emotion behind it, okay? So now we're going to do the tapping. We're going to do the reframe tapping. Sorry, I got something in my eye. All right. It's driving me crazy. That one little piece of hair. All right. Here we go. Got that picture? Got that image? Okay. Even though I've been struggling with my energy, I know it's a pattern, but I choose to live in this present moment of reality. Okay, keep that picture in your mind. Even though I have struggled before with my energy, I can see myself now doing so much with all this energy, and it feels amazing. I want you now to just in your own words say what you're seeing. Okay, even though I've struggled with energy before, I now see myself living this beautiful life. I can feel the energy. Okay, here we go. I choose to step into this new reality. I can see myself having all this extra energy. It makes me feel so, whatever it is, happy, joyful, content. I can see myself surrounded by the people I love. I can see myself doing what I truly love to do. And it makes me feel so joyful. I can see myself stepping into the real me. I choose to release all those past patterns so I can live this life. Okay, just take a deep breath. Okay, remember, we're going to do the power pose right now. So hands on your hips. I just want you to hold that power pose. And I want you to really feel that energy. What are you going to do with it? What does it look like? Okay, what does it look like? I want you to feel the emotion that goes on. How different will your life be with all this extra energy? If you're ready to let go of that heavy energy that's just weighed down emotion, it's all it is. It's nothing else, just weighed down emotion. Let go of those patterns. How does that feel? Okay. I hope that's helped. And if you're really struggling, if you really want to just nail this, get rid of this one last thing that's holding you back, the link is in the comments. Book in and have a chat with me. It doesn't cost you anything. We'll see what's there. Usually I can pick it up pretty quickly, what's going on. And then I'll let you know for the 3 different ways you can work with me and if it's a fit for you or not. Are you ready to make these massive, intentional, brilliant changes before the next decade? What's the 2020s going to look like for you? I thought we'd get to that. Who would have thought? You know how hard it was to start to write 2010? How 2020 kind of rolls off the pen. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please reach out, have a chat with me if you would like to find out more. I'd love to have a chat with you, and thank you so much for being on this Facebook Live today. I'll see you soon.